So this is a property this is a deal that I've done in Leeds. It's in one of the more affluent Leeds areas. And so the purchase price here is 180,000. It's a bit higher than the average, but that's why it's average. But this one here, the rental income is £1,250, which is really good for West Yorkshire. So there are areas in Yorkshire where you can buy a property for £80,000, £90,000. But then your strategy will be different. For this specific property, I'm gonna just run through the numbers. The total cash needed from the investor was just over £60,000. The property was almost turnkey. We just needed to fix up the garden a little bit, and just put some paint here and there. So the fully managed refurb was about £2,500. The monthly cash flow on this property is £421, which is really good for Yorkshire because the average is about £250 to £270 a month, the average monthly cash flow from properties in Yorkshire. So if we get a property in Huddersfield, for example, the purchase price will be around £100,000 to £110,000, but then the monthly cash flow will be just about over £220,000 to £250,000. So if we invest in a bit more expensive property, specifically in West Yorkshire, we're gonna get a bit of a high monthly cash flow, but that all depends on the strategy. So the ROCE, which a lot of people use the term ROI, which is return on investment. I prefer it to call it ROCE. In this case, this is a return on capital employed. So this is 8.37%, which is pretty much the average for Yorkshire. And this is a very important number because people sometimes underestimate the power of capital appreciation and the power of how much houses, especially in this specific area, which is a more affluent area, increase. So from year 1 to year 5, on an annual basis, there is a 20% return on investment. That is based on 4% growth of the property price per year, of the value of the property. A lot of people underestimate capital appreciation and they think, oh, okay, well, from one property, I'm going to make 200, 300, maybe 400 pounds a month. That's not enough. Yes, it's not enough, but let's remember that this is an investment. This is a long-term investment. It's not something that's going to make you rich tomorrow. And I really don't like the word rich as well, but we might dip into this. Property is not a get rich quick. It's get wealthy, definitely, but in about 10 years.
Well, however, one thing I would say about this strategy itself, and I just want to focus on the 8.37%, because for you guys listening to this video, and Nikola is taking you through a live example, 8.37%, how much can you get interest from your bank accounts right now? Probably 1-2% if you're lucky. What about a long-term savings account in your building society? Maybe 4, 5, 6%, again, if you're very lucky. And then you are tied in as well. You have certain tied in rules. We're talking about an 8.37%. And the one thing I like about property, which is echoing what Nikola has already said, is the fact that it's not just the 8.37, it's capital appreciation. Your money, your bank account only grows by adding interest, but that's kind of, it's not growing the capital as well. That's really only if you add the interest to it, but it's not really capital growth. It's just the amount of interest you've earned. Now, that works well over 5 years because you do get compound interest. I get that. But we're talking about 8.37% plus the capital growth that you'll get as well. So this really is a double whammy in terms of investments. And back to your point, Nikola, it's not like shares where if a share plummets to the ground, and we've seen a few of those happen in the last few years, you lose all your money because guess what? You're only holding a piece of paper. No one can, take that bricks and mortar away from you and that piece of land that you own. That is yours. And I think that is pretty much something you've echoed about people wanting to invest in the UK is because it is safe. Governments cannot take your property away from you.
Yes, and it's not only about being in property, it's about investing long term. Here I want to make a point. We need to make a difference between property investors and landlords, and also we need to make a difference between investors and traders. So a lot of people think that you can just put money into something and then pull it out the next year. That is trading, or the next day, or overnight. You just see the price jump and you pull it out and you make profit. It's not exactly how it works with property. This is a long-term strategy and this is an investment. Of course, we do property trading. They are also known as property flips. So we buy the property, we refurbish it, we increase the value, then we sell it for a profit. But this is not something that is very common. The most common type of investment in property in the UK is a buy-to-let. And about 90% of the people that invest in property invest in buy-to-let. Another point I want to make here is investor versus a landlord. So, a property investor invests in the property and everything else is handled by someone else. So, the property is found, negotiated, project managed, and let by people like me. Then the property, the tenants and all that is managed by a letting agent. The property investor does not have deeper involvement into the whole process. They just invest, put money in, and wait. They get their profit and they wait. Landlords, they try to do everything themselves, especially with the management side of the business. They try to manage tenants themselves. They get phone calls at 12 o'clock at night, internet stopped, pipe is leaking, boiler's broken. I would not advise my investors on doing this because this is what landlords do. I'm trying to build portfolios for investors, which are also busy professionals. For example, if you're working in the NHS, you're coming back home from a 12-hour shift. Can you imagine your phone ringing 1 hour after you went to bed and someone saying, "Oh, my boiler's broken down, so you need to fix it straight away"? We just don't want that.
Can we make it even more worse than that? Imagine that you are in the NHS and you're a surgeon, and you're mid-operation, and you're getting someone on the phone saying, "Hey, my boiler's broken. I need you to fix it." Not going to happen.
Yes, so we need to make a distinction between landlords and investors. So investors, property investing, and that's what it's all about, needs to be hands-free. And this helps professionals focus on their job, business owners focus on their business, and this is just from the monthly cash flow, that's just passive income. And this annualized return on investment, that 8.37% in this case, that is only from the rental profit. We're not talking about capital appreciation. This is 8% return on your investment only from the rental profit.